After 28 years using Linux, here's what I've found actually matters.
I've got it. Fix your Linux.
I started using Linux in 1998 with Red Hat. Since then, I've used Arch, Gentoo, Slackware, Debian, Fedora, MX Linux, Ultramarine, and quite a few others. I've used KDE, XFCE, GNOME, and more than a few window managers and desktops along the way. I've compiled kernels, broken bootloaders, recovered systems in rescue mode, and spent a lot of time changing things just because I could. And after 28 years, I've learned that the most important question is not which distro is best. It's not which desktop environment wins. It's a much more simpler question. What actually matters, once Linux stops being a hobby and becomes the computer you really rely on every day, is what matters. When I was younger in Linux and in life, I cared about control. I wanted the newest kernel. I wanted bleeding-edge packages. I wanted to build things myself, configure everything by hand, and understand every layer of what the system was doing. I also distro hopped a lot, not because anything was broken, but because something newer always looked interesting. I had opinions about package managers, had opinions about init systems. I spent time in forums arguing about things that had essentially no effect on my daily work.
Your escape manager setup, I pressed the delete key and it now says...
None of that was wasted time. In Linux, you learn by doing, and doing means breaking things and fixing them. Looking back, I was optimizing for novelty, not for a computer I could trust. Those are two very different things in my opinion, and for a long time, I didn't notice the difference.
And out-of-the-box Bluetooth, suspend and resume, audio, external monitors, all those things should just work. I don't have time anymore to fix those things. I know how to. And these days, with the help of artificial intelligence, if there's something you can't figure out, just ask an AI.
I got here through a long process of elimination. I've tried a lot of things that were more exciting than Fedora. But Fedora is what I kept coming back to because it's current without being chaotic, it has strong hardware support, and when something goes wrong, there's usually a clear path to fixing it. KDE Plasma earns its place because it's configurable without being demanding. It does what I ask it to do and doesn't make itself the main event. I also prefer XFCE, but that's another story. Of course, I'm not telling you to run what I run. I'm telling you that I got here by asking different questions than I used to ask. In closing, after 28 years, what matters to me is not whether a distro is fashionable or whether it lets me brag about how much I configured by hand. What matters to me, at least, is whether it works, whether it stays working, and whether it gets out of my way.